Billy, before we get into the game stuff, what, in your view, happened with Alex? And it sounds like he's in the concussion protocol. Is there any concern? Knowing the protocol, it seems like the spacing would be okay, but is there any concern he could miss game 5?
Yeah, I mean, I just know that I think they're still trying to figure out if he actually has a concussion, but I think there was enough there that they had some concerns that it was to the level. I'm not really sure. He'll go obviously through all the normal protocols and questionings and think they normally go through, but it wasn't really necessarily a flagrant play at all. He just kind of got his nose, it looked like, because that's what he was holding. But I'm sure he got his head jarred back. He was just, got caught up in the screen there, going for the ball. And, he got hit pretty good. It was like right in front of our bench. But I think he was trying to come back in. But I think once he started bleeding, they wanted to bring him back to get the bleeding to stop. And then I think once they started looking into him, I think there was enough of a concern that maybe he has a concussion, but yeah. And that's why there was stoppage play. There was blood on the floor and stuff like that. But I thought actually it was his eye he was holding, but it wasn't, it was his nose.
What do you think about the physicality and all those things you talked about coming out of game 3?
Listen, I thought we were better, in a lot of ways. I thought we competed. Obviously Giannis, demands a lot of attention, and he obviously, when he gets in that lane, he's really, really a handful. And with our size, we got to get in there and we got to, provide help. And, they shot the ball well. I mean, that was the difference in the game, in my opinion. I think if you look at their shooting from the 3-point line compared to ours, that was a difference. I thought we had some pretty good looks. I thought DeMar and Zach really, tried to play the right way in terms of generating some downhill penetration and kickouts, and kind of same thing that they did. I think their kickouts, they just shot the ball at a much, much better rate than we did. But I thought we were more physical and played a lot more aggressively than we did in game 3.
Billy, they're able to get a lot of open threes when Giannis got into the paint and collapsed your defense. When Allen shoots the ball that well, what can you do defensively to try to limit some?
Yeah, I mean, we got to rotate a little bit, but I thought there was some situations we could have closed harder to him. But like I said, you're not playing Giannis one-on-one, and it's just because he's just going to get to the rim, and even one guy with him, you have to kind of provide some help. I'll look at the tape. I know there was definitely several, closeouts. I think we could have done a better job rotating too. There was a couple times where the floor was overloaded and totally flooded, and Matthews was left on the backside, but we had to take some cutters. We had 2 on the ball on Giannis, and then there were some guys coming towards the basket, and we had to kind of absorb those cuts. And to Giannis's size, that was the thing. He was able to get the ball out of the double team and across the floor. So, we'll look at the tape and find out maybe some different rotations or can we get there a little bit quicker than we did?
Billy, given the disparity of what happened in Milwaukee to what happened here in Chicago, how do you make sure that this doesn't snowball? I mean, these are 2 obviously pretty significant losses from a team that's playing at an extremely high level, the opponent. So how do you make sure that this doesn't snowball moving forward as you approach game 5?
In terms of like going,
Your team doesn't get overwhelmed. I mean, the Bucks are the defending NBA champions, and they're playing at an extremely high level. So, what is your message to keep your team on point moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what this is all about to me. I felt even on the bench tonight the frustration from our guys, where I think they were really working hard. I think that their physicality and the level of want to and try was really there. And there was times where I think we gave really, really good effort, and they still scored. And I think there was times that, we moved the ball and generated, pretty good looks, I think, for each other. And, the ball didn't go in the basket, and that, I think, gets deflating. And you can kind of sense that a little bit. And we've got to be able to confront that and just deal with that, because we can't control that. If we're trying to generate, different looks. I thought our spacing was better. I think we didn't shoot the ball well tonight, and I think we ended up having 27 assists. So I was really encouraged by that, because I think I mentioned to you guys after game 3 that I didn't like the spacing, and and we needed to be better, kind of opening the floor up, to help each other. I thought we did do that, but we just didn't shoot the ball great. And unfortunately, that's the mental challenge that we're going to have, is when we're not shooting it, can we still stay really, really engaged and locked in and try to get stops to generate maybe some fast break points to get some easier baskets?
How as a coach, you approach it? You have 2 games at home where, you lose by double digits and we're out of it. Do you go into this next game as a coach saying, let's do what we do better, or let's try something different and throw something different at them?
Well, I think it was a little bit harder today, Sam, with the rotations with Alex going out. That made it a little bit more challenging because we had a really, really good player that was down, especially defensively. So I think everything's on the table, to your point of there's certain things we're going to have to be better at regardless, because whoever's out there, you're just going to be confronted with those things and you have to be better at it. But yeah, I think anything going into that game that we can do that will help the group, whatever that may be, we'll have to do. Certainly I think the rotations got a lot shorter today just because, Alex going out, played DeMar and Zach and Vooch a lot of minutes in that second half. I think, whatever we can do to, rotations, different things to help, we're going to certainly try to do everything we can.
Yeah, Billy, it looked like you went to Iowa over Kobe there in the first quarter before Alex went out. Obviously, Kobe comes back. I wonder what you saw that led to that initial decision, and then what you thought Iowa's minutes.
I thought Iowa was fine. I thought he did a good job. He knocked down a couple threes. I thought we got, out in transition a few times. We made a little bit of a run there in that third quarter. He was a big part of it. I think Zach and DeMar did a good job of getting downhill and spraying the ball out, and found him a couple times. He ran off, I think, 2 quick threes, and, that was good. And I think Iowa's a really, really good defender. I just thought he was playing pretty well and, just gave him the opportunity.
Patrick, obviously, the result as a team is disappointing, but the 20-10 for you, what was game 3 like, going through that 0-for-9 performance that you had, and then how did you put that behind you to come out and do what you did tonight?
Especially in the playoffs, nobody wants to come out and miss shots, like first playoff run for a lot of us. In your mind, you come into the series thinking of all the positives. I think for sure we knew that stuff was going to hit the fan. It wasn't going to be perfect, but in your mind, you just always think of, especially in your first playoff series, you always think of positive. But for me, specifically, to come out as game 0-for-9, it hurt. It hurt for sure. Of course, you wanna perform in the playoffs, but when you have guys come to the bench after missing 2-3 shots in a row, come to the bench, you got guys dap you up, telling you that you've worked too hard to hang your head or work too hard to stop shooting. It just means the world, honestly, to have to see and to know that those guys have your back, no matter if you're 0-for-9 or 9-for-9. You know what I mean? So it meant the world just to see how much the guys have my back, and I got their back just as much.
Go on.
Just along those lines, Patrick, what's been your biggest learn going through this the first time, the playoffs?
My biggest what now? Learn what it takes to win. Just coming into after game 1, we know it's a dogfight. Coming into game 2, we made adjustments, and we just super locked into detail. I think I kind of learned what it takes to win. Kind of saw what it takes to win in the playoffs, which is when everybody wants to win. I think kind of that, and just the experience. I think for me and also for a lot of guys, just like first playoff experience is just eye-opening. Honestly, just about how different it is from the regular season. It's still basketball at the end of the day, but it's just such a different pace. Every game is different from game 1 to game 4 tonight. Every game has been different in terms of flow, in terms of teams making adjustments. And I also learned a lot about our guys. We're not going to back down. We're not going, no matter how much we're down, no matter what score is on the scoreboard, we're going to fight. We don't have guys that back down from adversity, that back down from a challenge. We have guys kind of like myself that try to look at the positive of whatever the situation is. So you learn a lot about yourself and also your team going through playoffs.
Patrick, their 3-point shooters are really hurting you guys when you collapse defensively against Giannis in the paint. What can you guys do differently defensively in game 5 to be more effective against their outside shooters?
I mean, it's tough for sure. We have Grayson Allen, Bobby Portis, Pat Connaughton, even Drew Holiday shooting the way that they are. And you got, of course, Giannis coming downhill, and guys have. I mean, you got to converge. You got to help, one another when Giannis coming downhill. Then he's kicking out to shooters. I mean, it's tough for sure. I mean, they're a good team. I think you can't take away everything with a good team. So you can't take away everything with Zach and DeMar and our team. You can't take away everything. So you got to, live with something. And those guys have been getting it going. Just contest better, I guess. I got to do better on the ball, honestly, with Giannis. He just, I guess, too many straight line drives. For guys having to come in too much, and then it kind of makes it a harder closeout. So I think it's a collective. Take this game, learn from it, make adjustments, see what we can do better, and go into game 5 just ready to play, ready to battle.
What do you think is the difference? Game 2 on the road, in Milwaukee, guys play well, win the game, obviously. Come home and have these 2 games. To you, what's the difference between playing so well there and not as well here?
I'm not sure exactly. We've kind of threw a couple of things out in terms of mindset, in terms of attention to detail in terms of the game plan, sticking to the game plan no matter what. So we definitely threw some solutions out there in the locker room. I'm not sure if it's just one. I'm probably a combination of a lot of different problems. But we got to solve them. We got to solve them. As a team, we can't solve them. One guy can't solve them. The coaching staff can't solve them by themselves. The players can't solve them by ourselves. It takes a collective. So I think we're all up for the challenge. It's definitely a challenge in front of us, but we're up for it. I mean, like I said earlier, we don't back down from any challenge. We always see the positive in it. So I think we're ready.
Patrick, this series has been such a roller coaster for you. How do you deal with your time away from the team? Do you try to get away from it? Do you study film more? How have you been doing things this week?
I guess it being my first series, I try to learn just as much as I can about our series, but also about other series. So whether it's watching film with Alex Caruso, I watch film with him a lot, watching film with the coaches, watching other series, watching other playoff games going on. I usually try to stay around basketball. I really don't have anything else to do other than basketball. So usually try to stay around it, learn as much as I can from our series, but from also other series that are going on, talking to the coaching staff, guys that have been in the playoffs, guys that have made it to the second round, to the third round, kind of guys that have been where we are now. So just try to learn as much as you can. It's the playoffs. You can't knock the opportunity that we have here, the blessing that it is to be here. So just try to learn and embrace as much as I can.
I know you don't want to concentrate on yourself, what's going on, but do you feel like this can be a glimpse of the player you are and can be based on what you did today?
I want to win. So whatever it takes to win, that's who I'll be. Whether it's whatever, I'm with it. If it takes us, if it results in us winning, I'll be whatever player I need to be.
Patrick, what has this experience been like? 4 games in now. You guys have had some ups and downs, highs and lows. Just the playoff experience, your first time. What's it been like for you?
It's been a lot, honestly. Just a lot of thoughts. Kind of like I said, every game is different. Every possession, every quarter has a life of its own, and it's all different. So just kind of embracing it all. The atmosphere, the game, the energy, the physicality, kind of trying to embrace it all and just understanding. I think DeMar said it earlier to me. He said it's hard, but you just got to embrace how hard it is, honestly. You don't want it to be easy. Everybody will be here feels easy, honestly. So just understanding it's tough, it's difficult to win in the playoffs. It's tough to get to the playoffs. It's difficult to get to the playoffs. So just leaning in, embracing, just getting lost in the game. It's been fun for me, honestly, just having this experience and understanding that every play matters, every decision matters, every quarter, everything matters. So it's been fun.
You always hear about guys having to adjust, whether it's losing sleep or things like that. Have you had any of those moments to manage your emotions?
Yeah, for sure. I'm usually not. I usually do whatever I feel is just like everybody else. I do usually what I feel. I usually don't feel too much like riled up, or I usually don't feel too much emotion. But coming in the playoffs, of course, the crowd plays a part in that. The physicality of the game plays a part in that. I've been kind of feeling a little bit more emotional throughout the game, but just trying to kind of keep even keel. It's a lot of ups and downs in the game. I think Coach showed us early that like the point spread, you could be down 13 or up 13, and it's like that's normal to come back from a 13-0 or to be up 13 and then have a team come back on you. Like that's normal in the playoffs. So just kind of embracing it all.
Do you wonder where you'd be at all if you were able to play the whole year through rather than the time you missed?
Not really. It happened. I can't really dwell on it. It was a play that I really had no control over what happened. So I usually try not to dwell on things that I can't control. Just trying to be lost in the moment, lost in this, lost in the fight, lost in every game, lost in every possession. I think end of the season maybe, but for now I'm just trying to get lost in the playoffs.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
You got the right phone?
Yeah.